Welcome to A Quick Beer in Cleveland, Ohio. Let's jump into part 2 of our conversation with Great Lakes Brewing Company. I gotta ask about Christmas ale. It seems like that's like a big thing here, and I see the pictures online with the lineups. So it's like one of the things that is like causes frenzies around town, which is increasingly rare with all these breweries that exist these days. Do you want to talk about sort of the Christmas ale, how that came about, and why you think it's such a big thing?
Yeah. Christmas ale is a big one for us. 1992 is when we started brewing that one, and it has just become one of our biggest beers. We sell about as much Christmas ale as we do Dortmunder. And Dortmunder is kind of our flagship beer. That beer has people, we do an event called First Pour every year now, where it's the first day that we tap it. It happens in October. We will have people lining up down the block at 6 in the morning. So it's definitely a big beer for us. But I think so many people just associate it with the holidays and family memories, and it's just such a cool beer because every time we do have First Pour, people come in and they tell us their stories about why Christmas ale is important to them and why they love it, how it's been a part of their tradition every holiday. So it's a really cool, kind of special thing that's unique to us, which is neat. Yeah.
And like you said, like for a lot of Clevelanders, Christmas ale getting released is the kickstart of the holiday season for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So it really is not just the beer itself, but the feeling that comes with it.
We also have a lot of new beers coming out in the coming months. We have a new seltzer coming out. It's called Transfusion Seltzer. It's a grape lime. Our Rocket Pop hard seltzer will also be coming out. We have a new Imperial Hazy or Double Hazy IPA. It's called Spacewalker.
Yeah, it's interesting, Great Lakes. I see this with some of the older breweries. There's no choice anymore to straddle the new and the old.
Yeah.
Like you can't not play in the seltzer, hazy, that kind of very modern vibe space. But what I really like is that you still keep your history alive and it's still very strong and prominent. Because it's just, again, it's all businesses in order to succeed have to go with the times and go with the flow of the market. And that's just a reality. But it's really cool that things like Fitzgerald, Dortmunder, LNS are still like, there's a nice balance there, which is really cool. Really cool to see.
We're getting into this phase like we talked about earlier where we're in generations of craft beer here in the US, where it's always cool. We see people on tours, people that come to the restaurant, people that buy our beer, and they're been drinking our beer for a long time, and they say, hey, it's my child's 21st birthday and I'm bringing them to get Great Lakes because I love Dortmunder Gold. I've been drinking this beer for forever, and I'm getting my kids now and buying them their first beer, and oh hey, they really like this new beer that you just came out with. So it's really cool to see like generations of people drinking our beer now. So
I'd love to just maybe talk a little bit big picture for a second, if you don't mind. You basically started the beer scene here. I think that's safe to say, but I'm here visiting Cleveland and this video is about the Cleveland beer scene. So do you want to just talk about like, just what's the Cleveland beer scene like? Is it collaborative? Is there anything that's uniquely Cleveland when it comes to beer?
we feel like a rising tide raises all ships, really. A lot of breweries here in Cleveland can really trace their origins back here to Great Lakes, whether they started working here, went on and did their own projects. But Cleveland's really been, it's part of the Rust Belt, it's this working class city. So I feel like a lot of breweries here in Cleveland try to stay true to that. They're try to be as authentic as possible. Really starting with like how we started, like I said, using good ingredients and making high quality beers is something a lot of breweries in Cleveland really do.
Yeah, sweet.
And there's a lot of breweries in Cleveland now. There's probably at least 6 just within walking distance of here. Yeah.
I'm obviously an older drinker, and so I love, capturing places like this and featuring them, because a lot of younger drinkers may not realize how the history that came before them started drinking affected the scene today and what they're drinking today.
Yeah, it's neat. We were one of the first ones. We were the first ones in Ohio. We're the oldest in Ohio. But it's so neat to see like how many other breweries are just in Cleveland alone now, and there's so many other cool breweries doing so many cool things. Noble Beast is really awesome. They have a good mix of like very traditional style beers and also very new and experimental style beers. So it's really cool to see Bookhouse Brewing Company. They do the same thing. So there's a lot of really neat breweries popping up.
It's cool, a lot of, like I said, staying true to that Rust Belt feel. Like we've seen today, we've occupied a lot of old buildings and made do with what we have. I feel like there's a lot of breweries here in Cleveland that have stayed true to that.
This has been awesome. I really appreciate you guys taking the time,
Yeah, of course.
showing me around, and talking now, and thanks for the beers.
Of course.
That wraps up our two-part quick beer with Cleveland's Great Lakes Brewing Company. Stay tuned for our next episode as we explore more of the city's dynamic beer scene.